Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
The United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members, I can ask the members to introduce themselves, starting on my far right.
John Smith, Board of Finance. Michael Lamont, Board of Finance.
Dave Bill, City Council.
Calvin Brown, City Council.
Jody Silsgagny, City Council.
Anthony D'Amato, City Council.
Ron Burns, Board of Finance.
Cheryl Tebow, Board of Finance.
Mike Green, Board of Finance.
Dave Gillespie, City Council.
Mary Fortier, City Council.
Jake Cavalier, Board of Finance.
Councilor Therese Knapp.
Assistant John Lavella.
And Mayor Kincaid. Number one.
Approval of minutes of the regular joint board meeting on November 10, 2015.
Approval.
Second.
Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 2.
Is the consent calendar. 2A is to make an additional appropriation of $535 within the capital non-recurring fund funded by donations for the Cemetery Commission.
Move it. Second. Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 3.
Okay, item 2B, sorry. 2B is to make an additional appropriation of $21,284 within the Special Grants and Donations Fund funded by the Covanta Outreach Grant.
Move it. Second. Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 3.
To make an additional appropriation of $5,000 within the Community Development Block Grant Fund funded by a sponsorship grant from the Connecticut Next Connection Innovations for the startup of Bristol.
Motion to approve. Second. Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 4.
To transfer $50,000 from the General Fund Contingency Account to Operating Transfers Out Capital Projects.
Move it.
Second.
Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 5.
To make an additional appropriation of $50,000 within the Capital Projects Fund funded by a transfer in from the General Fund for a Route 6 corridor study. So moved.
Second. Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6.
To transfer $68,212 within the Equipment Building Sinking Fund.
Move it.
Second.
Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 7.
To make an additional appropriation of $68,212 within the Capital Projects Fund funded by transfer in from the Equipment Building Sinking Fund for the Beals Roof Renovation Project. So moved.
Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 8.
To transfer $105,500 within the Sewer Operating and Assessment Fund for major repairs and telephone.
Move approval.
Second. Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 9.
To make an additional appropriation of $20,000 within the Sewer Operating and Assessment Fund funded by WPC Undesignated Fund Balance for repairs and maintenance.
Move approval. Second. Motion made second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 10.
Is the monthly revenue and expense report presentation by the Comptroller.
Good evening, everyone. Short and sweet my report tonight. First of all, we're almost complete with the audit with the new auditors. Things are going fine. We've had weekly updates with the manager in charge who's here and also the partner in charge. Phone conferences. It's gone along better than I thought. Usually with new auditors, it's a training process. We're training them, they're training us in their ways, and there were new ways and new different things, but it was actually very beneficial because they looked very closely at the internal controls citywide, and I think they did a fine job. We're going to ask them to present to the Board of Finance, since the Board of Finance is the appointing authority for the auditors, in January, so council people may want to be in the audience to listen to what they've heard and any of their findings and things like that. So that's going to take place in the normal meeting of January. Also, obviously, if you read the paper today, the mayor's kickoff meeting was this past week, and we're ready to start preparing that, doing everything electronically as far as the forms are going out. It's true we've got a couple issues. We're trying to keep that, obviously, the mill rate like any other year as low as possible. We're shooting at this point for under a mill, and it's way too early to predict anything at this point. But as it was pointed out, we have a new issuance that's going to take place of bonds in the spring for $25 million. Originally, we had planned $50 million. It's too expensive to do so, so we're going to split it in 2 issues of $25 per year. And we delayed for 1 year the principal payments. So next year, 16-17, we'll only have an interest payment, and then the following year, the principal will kick in with the regular interest payment. So it's going to be about $750,000. A mill is roughly about $3.7 million. So the 0.7 is being sucked up by interest, and you probably saw in the paper also, we're very concerned about the state of Connecticut taking over the motor vehicle tax collections. And at one point they said they'd make us whole, and now with their session, I don't know what took place today with their session, but we're hearing that they're not going to make us whole. So that's very important. If you're speaking with any of the representatives here, we need to make sure. I mean, you can just imagine. I mean, we're anywhere between 500,000 and $1 million in the hole. We're hearing that's not going to be reimbursed. You can only imagine what a larger city like a Hartford or a Stamford is going to lose and that type of thing. But locally, that's a major issue of concern. And my last item is that for the last 10 years or so, I've been very active with CCM in teaching on a Saturday, and I'll just extend to you. You'll see this come to you from CCM, but on January 9th, the town manager of Avon and myself, we teach a 3-hour course in budgeting and financial literacy, and we use Bristol's and Avon's, but for the majority Bristol's financials as the templates of discussing them and understanding. You know, at the joint board meeting, you're going through and you're approving as a new council person a lot of transfers, additional appropriations out of contingency among different funds, and lots of times, probably since you're new, you don't understand what's taking place between those funds and with the transfers. What's the difference between a surplus and a contingency and a special revenue fund and that type of thing. This is 3 hours of really comprehensive training. Once again, it's going to be on January 9th through 12th, the town manager of Avon, where I worked prior to here for 10 years. It was actually one of my students in graduate school, and he's very, very competent in the field. It's kind of interesting. He met his wife in my class, and his wife is the assistant town manager in Farmington, so you can imagine what that conversation must be at the dinner table every night. But again, it's budgeting and financial literacy. It's at the Southington Police Station, and it will be free to CCM members. If you're interested, sign up early, because it's usually sold out.
I never knew you were a matchmaker.
It's amazing. Yeah, it really is, and it just took place that way. And, so I was the finance director, first finance director there, and then obviously I left to come here. But shortly after, the town manager of 35 years retired, and Brandon was working in Simsbury, and they hired him as the new town manager. So what a small world, you know.
Any questions for Glenn?
Yeah, I do. Glenn, before our January meeting for the Finance Board to get the results from the auditors, will we be provided some sort of preliminary report so that we can look it over?
Yes, you
will.
Yeah,
it's going to take a little while.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's called the CAFRS, the acronym CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. It's the report we've been producing for the last 25 years. It's an award-winning report, and they're continuing the tradition. We're going to have a $750,000 surplus, and once again, you've heard me mention it, and John championed this, is that we manage the surplus. The actual surplus was really in the neighborhood of $3 million, but you'll see in the budget process that we basically put that excess into the sinking funds and the capital project funds to pay for next year's capital projects, and also the sinking funds to pay, for instance, for police cars and vehicles and public works. If it went to fund balance, but everyone knows the big black hole. You can't take it out. You can put it in, but you can't take it out. And so we manage that process. We're confident. The auditors have confirmed it will be a surplus. That report must come out on or before December 31st to the Office of Policy and Management. And so then we'll have it in our hands. And obviously the Board of Finance meets the fourth Tuesday of January. So you'll have it in your hands for a month. And we'll highlight, and the auditors also present the Board of Finance what's called a management letter, and presents their findings, their observations of what is taking place. That's pretty important to read, so we'll disseminate that to everybody.
do we anticipate any qualifications at all, or?
No, it's going to be what's called, as you're probably aware, an unqualified opinion, which means there are no qualifications, no major issues. Issues that came up along the way were resolved along the way. They were minor ones where they would bring it to my attention and say, there's no segregation of duties in this particular task, and we would handle it, so it's not a problem. Oh, one other thing that did come today, the IRS came to my office today to meet with Robin. I'm at the agent also, but I was dealing with other issues, and Robin handled it. So they gave us a one-page list of things that are necessary, letters that have to be written to the various higher-ups in the agency explaining what has taken place. She walked us through forms that need to be filled out. At this point, she feels somewhat confident that the penalties may be waived, underline maybe, but interestingly enough, at the federal government level, she represented the underpayment to the withholding tax. We overpaid Social Security. That was one was transposed to the other. They don't speak to each other. Social Security, Jai says, well, can you call Social Security, tell them what happened, and it'll be done. Just transfer the funds. We don't communicate with them. So it's all levels of government, I guess, but that was kind of interesting.
Through the chair, Glenn, does that mean, just to follow up on the last question, when we get the audit, it'll be available ahead of time for us too, on council?
It'll be available, and we'll give you a hard copy into your inboxes up on the 3rd floor, and it'll be online immediately.
But is there no management letter or best practice letter as part of the audit?
It's a separate document. The management letter will be included in your mailing, but it is a separate document. Usually management letters indicate when there's some kind of a failing at this point, I would have heard about it. There's nothing there's nothing in there.
I mean, there's no deviation. I'm sorry. There's no deviation from our normal practices, correct?
No.
So we shouldn't expect anything substantial anyways.
No, there isn't. And the only thing was just on us. Was that they had different ways of doing things, and that's okay. They looked at it with a different perspective, with a different magnifying glass, and we fully accepted that. And I don't foresee any. It was a major problem. I would know about it, present it to you well in advance.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made, second. Discussion. Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Council meeting will start in 5 minutes.